I think we are live now. What is going on, everyone? I am going to be doing some painting this afternoon. I've got a lot of little extra bits of tape, and I've been using them for some interesting projects, and I'm getting ready to do a next step of kind of redoing my Rebel fleet. And, to kind of walk you through this process a little bit, a lot of my Rebel ships I had painted blue. I did one of each Rebel ship, various types of blue, a while back. And hello there. Hey, JJ, what's going on? Thanks for guys for joining and hanging out and sharing your thoughts. I always appreciate the comments. I always appreciate everybody kind of joining in and hanging out. But oh, it's Toasty. Welcome back, Toasty. Haven't seen you in a while. Hopefully you're doing well. All right, so we are going to be doing some Rebel ship painting today. I did a little bit of airbrushing recently. This is kind of the shade of blue that most of my Rebel fleet was in. I'm not redoing the MC-75 though, because I really liked the way this one came out. I'm keeping this one as is. I had done my whole Rebel fleet in this kind of shade, but I added red and orange in a kind of an attempt to do some line work. And I don't think it came out very good. I was not particularly satisfied with the way that it came out, and I decided I wanted to redo everything. And one of the reasons I was okay with the MC-75 is because it does not have any of the red on there. Plus, I mean, it's a pretty good kind of multi-toned blue fleet. So then, fast forward like a year after that paint job, the Starhawk comes out. I do the Starhawk in kind of more of a blue and gray mix, and I'm like, oh, I really like that. And then it was way different than this, and so I said, well, let me do the rest of the Rebel fleet a little bit more in this kind of blue and black or blue and gray kind of theme. And so I decided I wanted to do that. So, so I did some taping and I just did some airbrushing recently. So this is kind of what we have. Obviously, there's more that needs to be done. I've got paneling, I've got lots of details, I've got lights, I've got engines that I've got to come back to add onto. But I want all these guys to fly together as kind of this blue and gray. I feel like it goes better. Blue and red made sense from a certain perspective, but I don't think on the color, on the eyes, it wasn't very easy on the eyes. And so, I have to do a little more work. Here's my assault frigate. Kind of have the gray and the inside in there. And then I actually added a little stripe on the wings too, although that one kind of got messed up a little bit. But I can retouch that, and that's kind of one of the things I'm going to be working on. I'm going to kind of show off some of the schemes, the overall schemes for some of these ships. The Hammerhead I didn't do much to. I just made him mostly all in blue, and I'll just add details to him in general. The CR90, he still got the original red stripes a little bit. I added a little bit more of the new blue to him, just from one angle, because I wanted him to be kind of a blend between the two, right? So he's still kind of, I wanted some of them to still kind of match a little bit of that MC-75 color scheme as well. But I will be taking kind of the gray into, I mean, it's already kind of gray as is. It's already almost black with that red, but I'll be adding some gray to him as well. And then we've got some other ones too. Like this Liberty looks pretty cool. I kind of wanted to do some lining, this was all taping, and I kind of took the X-Acto and I cut out the tape like right before I hit those two bubble domes. But yeah, blue and red, Zach says, can look fantastic together. I think so. I think it's possible to do, but I think it's a lot. It's not as simple as just doing straight up blue and red. I think there has to be a little more of a plan put in, and I think you need to kind of maybe test it on something first too, because I think you need to have maybe a border between it, maybe like a black border between the blue and the red, kind of separating them a little bit, or at least have the balance, maybe mostly red with a little bit of blue or something like that. But the way I had it, it wasn't looking very good. But this is turning out kind of nice. I'm going to show you some more. I did the MC-80H Home 1 series, and I did some a little bit more complicated line work on this guy. Gave him some kind of gray stripes, kind of emphasizing the side arcs on this ship. and they kind of go a little bit underneath, not all the way, and they kind of stop at one of the domes there. So that's the home one. It does kind of match the Liberty a little bit. But then this one ended up being a little more gray rather than black. But this is our Pelta, and you can see a little bits of the blue, the original blue, that lighter blue underneath there, which is kind of funny. So there's the Pelta. I did some tape work on that. That's a good start. We'll still do paneling and lights and all that other stuff. And then this one came out pretty cool. This MC30. I did a lot of taping on that. So I taped off kind of a rectangle area on the top as well as the underneath parts right there. So I really like the way the MC30 is looking so far. Probably should have taped off the base, but the base had already been sprayed anyway. So like that part, I'm like, oh, well, I guess that's just going to stay that way. And so that much is pretty fun. One of the things I've been doing is I had gotten these stands from Mel Miniatures, and I've decided, you know what, let me just use these for painting on now. So these work well for all of the larger base stand hookups. So that's what we're going to do today. I want to add some gray paneling, and I realized as I was getting started, I'm real low on gray paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix a little bit of black and white, like you do sometimes. So I'm going to do mix a little bit of Vallejo black and Vallejo white. And I'm not as, the paneling I can be a lot more, and I'm using a wet palette today. The paneling I can be a lot more inconsistent with. It's like I'm really okay if it doesn't always match up perfectly and things like that. Usually all right with that. Only putting a little bit. I'm not sure if I don't think I'm not gonna get to all of these ships today, but I'm gonna do some. And that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so I'm just mixing some. I want this brush to be a little more wet also. Mixing some black and white makes gray. Pretty simple. I want this to be a little bit lighter. Put some more white in here. Okay. I think I'll start on a bigger ship. Maybe I'll start on a Liberty. I'm going to hold this one too. And anytime I'm doing something new too, one of the things I like to do is I like to start on the bottom, because it gives me a kind of an idea. Like if this gray is just like way wrong and it's just not going to work, well, I'm going to know that very quickly by doing some paneling on the bottom. And so that's what, like this is kind of a brighter gray. So I don't want too much of this. As a matter of fact, I think I want it to be a little darker. And that's because this is also a very dark blue I have here. And here we go. So this is kind of a thing. I'm gonna have to come back into this part and make this a lot darker too. I want this whole bottom engine section to be almost black. Black will be a fun one to do here, or a really dark gray too, but that is certainly gonna be matching up with some of the color schemes I already have. Let me kind of see if I can mix a little more black in here. Make this a little darker. Here we go. Oh yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I feel comfortable with this shade. All right. So now I'm gonna start adding some black or some dark gray paneling on the top now. I feel like I'm gonna do some of these domes. Probably shouldn't do the domes, but I'm going to do the domes. At least some of them. Except my brush is not doing what I want it to do. There we go. That's better. I am a sloppy painter too. I'm going to get stuff all over my hands. But I like the black and gray paint scheme a lot better than the black and red paint scheme. Primarily just because I feel like it's easier, at least on my eyes. I think everybody's eyes are different, right? That's why different people have different tastes. Different people decorate their houses different ways, and things like that. And so, so I think that's a fun kind of interesting thing about us is like you just kind of have to go with what I think you think looks appealing. Oh, I'm definitely getting this part right here. Yeah. One of the things that will really bring this fleet together is also like when you paint the engine, or not the engine. Well, the engine's good too, but painting the lights on a ship is so important, I think, because it really makes it kind of stand out against that black backdrop. I think painting lights works better on darker ships too. Here we go. A lot of little bits, because there's so many bits. There's so much to really do and talk about here. The Bob Ross of painting, yeah. Machine Gun Devil Dog. I thought you regretted painting the bases white and wished you'd left them clear. I do, absolutely. In this case, this is not an actual base. This is just a display stand that I bought 3D printed. So that one was never painted white. It just came white. So, yeah. I do regret that. I kind of wish I had left them clear, because it would be a lot. It would look better in photos. It would look better. All right. Just really focusing on this side for right now. So I like to think that these Mon Calas are in here and they're just like, you know, we need to replace this battle-damaged armor. And one walks up and goes, "But Lieutenant, we're all out of blue." And goes, "No problem. I'll talk to Admiral Akbar and see if he will authorize us some additional blue paint." And then, like, the next day, they come back and they're like, "All right, Admiral Akbar denied your request. All of the blue paint has gone forward to Mon Mothma's war effort. She's trying to upgrade her CR90s, and these Mon Calas are like, I guess we'll have to go with gray." And Admiral Akbar's like, "Well, I just took down a couple of Star Destroyers. I've got lots of gray paneling." You know, and I bet you like some of these gray pieces, if you were to like get in really close, you'd find out like that they were flat. They weren't as curved, so they're probably hammered out to fit this this ship. You know, because they were maybe imperial plating, which are all flat, and Mon Cala's all curved and different, and so they'd have to have changed it to make it work. And I also wanted this to be different than the line work that I did too. I wanted these colors to be different than the painting. I can actually do some over the top of this too. I think that's a good idea. I think it kind of reinforces that line work is the paint job and not just like paneling. There we go. So that's kind of the some of the idea. We're going to do some more, and I'll put some price. I might do some blue plating also. So I'm just going to work on this one ship today, in this stream. But I think it'd be fun to add some blue plating in here as well, because maybe they did get some blue requisitioned. Maybe it's a slightly different shade of blue too, because I do have that more aquamarine blue on the Starhawk also, and I definitely want to highlight, you know, some of those same color patterns to help make up for the fact that I think there's a little too, this blue might be a little too dark. There we go. Yeah. We've got Peltas coming out this month if you're in the United States. So for all of you Armada players out there, we've got more ships coming out, or at least one more ship coming out. And then we're kind of in the waiting mode, waiting for more news, waiting for more announcements. Hopefully, we'll get some more news. Hopefully. All right. This can be a long process. I apologize if this is a little boring. You know, I'm not gonna get every single little armor plating and piece, but I want to get a lot, because I think when you zoom out, it's going to add a lot of personality to this ship. I think it's especially cool to show that if I do a lot of armor replacement on the sides, because here's a ship that's got really great frontal firepower and a heavily reinforced frontal shield, but much weaker side ships, much weaker firing arc on the sides, and also much weaker shields on the sides. And I think that speaks a little bit to where you would want to attack this ship if you were in battle with it. I think you would want to have as many of your shots land on the side arcs of this ship. And that would kind of explain why most of our paneling is on the sides as opposed to in the front. I know that's something I try to do. Although you don't always have the choice, right? Like, having faced many liberties, I can clearly say that they do not like to give you the opportunity to take those shots elsewhere. They like to keep that front arc pointed at you and in your face, such that you have very few options. You know, the more options you give your opponent, the more, you know, the worse it is for you. My brush is a little wetter. Now, I'm getting a lot of that paneling in there now. Get some kind of towards the middle. And I'm doing this totally asymmetric. I'm not, you know, doing any particular rhyme or reason. I am, let me get this big piece right here. There's a big one. This was a torpedo that hit. Blew this whole section off. There we go. That's pretty good. I'm gonna do maybe just a few more. Then I'm gonna change it up to some blue. Actually, I think before I do the blue, it might make more sense since my brush has already got the dark gray on it to kind of do some of the engines. That's what I think I want to do.
Hey there.
Hi, buddy. I'm streaming right now, okay? It's harder to stream during the day because the kids are on summer vacation.
Well, the thing is,
Hey, can you go back inside, please? I'm streaming right now. Don't do it right now. It's okay. Thank you. All right. Sorry about that. He was actually, so my middle son was trying to come in here and open the garage door and start taking trash out and doing his chores like a good kid. I'm like, wait, but that's gonna be super loud and crazy, and I don't want you to do that right now. All right. I kind of like the way that that's looking. I think we're gonna move on to engines. Did you add a wash for the details? There's no wash applied. No wash at this point. I don't know if I will add a wash. I'm because this is already a repaint of a repaint, so I feel like there's, you know, at a certain point I'm going to be running out of quality things that I can do to it. So I might. Well, you know what I can always do too is let me zoom out. I can add wash to the bottom and see how that looks first, and then if it looks good, then I can come around and do the same effect on the top. That's something that's always an option. Okay. I've got a thicker, messier brush right now, and what I want to do is get in here, and I'm just using a really, I'm using a really, really watered down black. I could be using a contrast paint, but I want this all to be mostly black. I want this to have a pretty big contrast. I'm not using a contrast paint because I want contrast, but I want this to be really dark back here. There we go. All right. This is working. I should have used a bigger brush, I think. I just used the brush that was closest to me at the time, to be honest. So you can see kind of the difference there. All right. So I've been doing a little more live streaming lately. You know, seems like some of you guys are kind of liking the whole painting thing. I've been having fun painting. I took a long time off of painting, and I've been getting back into it, and it's so fun. It's therapeutic. I still do a lot just in my own, on my free time. I don't usually record my painting, but doing a Grand Army for Legion tonight. Repainted some of my Naboo terrain a little bit. I added some, fixed some things that I wanted to go back and fix. So we're going to be doing, I think we're going to be at Naboo tonight. All right, so there we go. That's blackened up. I'm gonna make sure I didn't get any spill over to the top. Okay. And then we also have the engines themselves, which are going to be probably more of a gray. So all right. I want to get the actual engines here. This one I can I'm not being as precise on this for a couple of reasons. For one, it's a larger area, and so I can afford a bigger brush, but also it's the underside. So if I screw up a little bit, I don't mind. This brush I left, look at this brush, by the way. I left this in a cup of water. And so like you don't want to leave them in there. Like I forgot it and left it in there for like 2 days. So because it forces the brush to do that, and it bends because the weight of the brush pushes down on it. It's a good way to ruin your brushes. And I mean, it's not completely ruined because I can still use it for, you know, jobs like this. But it's not good. Don't do that on an expensive brush. All right, I'll come back and do the thing. The tips of yours will often curl even if you clean immediately. Chandler, what's going on? I have repainted my old ones, as a matter of fact. So, yeah, I didn't like this is ones that were already blue that had like red stripes on them, and I didn't like the way that was looking, and so I decided I wanted to go over them all again and make them a color scheme that was slightly more appealing to me and make them a little more uniform too. And so that's kind of what I'm doing. I wanted them to be able to run with the Starhawk here, who is already kind of blue and gray, and I wanted him to have some people to kind of fly with. It's a slightly different, you know, each one is slightly different because like I was mixing colors as I was airbrushing, and so even like the Liberty and the Home one are two slightly different shades, which I'm okay with that. You know, the Rebel. My story is, you know, the Mon Cala, like Akbar was putting this fleet together, and he told everybody to paint their ships blue and gray, and everybody had slightly different brands of like blue and gray paint, and so that's why they all kind of look a little different, and I'm okay with that. You know, that's the story. You know, Saw Gerrera was out there with this one, and like that one's way different, right? Griffosaur, I noticed you haven't painted your Starhawk base with traditional white. Are you planning on unifying it or trying something different? No, I just decided I don't want to paint my bases white anymore, and so I just stopped. So that's kind of the moment where, whoops, sorry. That's the moment where I just decided, you know what? This isn't working. I'm just going to stop. And it's another reason why I'm always saying, hey, Atomic Mass Games, please make more bases, because I want to just buy new bases. And here's another reason why I think maybe they should, because I could probably say to AMG, like, hey guys, look at all the bases out there for your game, right? This is your game. Wait, all the bases say Fantasy Flight on them. Wah, 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 wah. Make some new bases, you know. Maybe we'll get them to do that. I want them to have base packs, man. That would be so rad. It'd be radical, man. Radical, badical. All right, I think this is the tape. Yes, this is the one. I used Vallejo blue-green for my kind of my accent color on the Starhawk. So I'm going to use that on this. And we'll add a couple of... Maybe we'll add some deck plate. I'll definitely do the engines, at least, in this blue-green. I think that's one thing I can easily kind of agree with. And then maybe a panel or two. So, I'm trying to get in here. It's as much smarter to do your engines with the airbrush, because you can just be like psst, 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 psst. But my airbrush has been acting up a little bit because I need to give it a real thorough cleaning. It's got a little bit of clogging, and I don't trust it, like when the model is fully done, to come back and just put a little spray right in the engine compartment right now. Like I'm not, my trust level is real low with it, because if it clogs and it shoots out something crazy, then It's gonna be real hard to fix that. So I'm like, you know what? You're on probation, airbrush. I only want you going when I can afford to fix you, when I can afford to fix the mistakes that potentially you make. It's like you wouldn't bring your kids to like an antique store and like let them run around right after they were amped up on Mountain Dew. It's like that's kind of the way I feel my airbrush is right now. Like it's good sometimes, especially around bedtime after it goes to bed. And I'm like, oh, you're a sweet airbrush when you're asleep. But now when it's awake, it's like, no, I don't trust you. I don't know if I'm talking about an airbrush or if I'm talking about children anymore. Or I don't know. The lines are all blurred. Louis, I do not. Let's see. Je veux de base orange et voilà. She made orange and so you like orange and purple bases. Okay. I don't speak much French, but I think you weren't saying super complicated stuff there. Let's see. Oh, too much in that one. Come on out. Come on out. All right. So those are my engines. Engines are done. I need to do some accents. I'm going to test it on the bottom first. I'm going to go up in here. We've got, I don't know what is in there. I don't know what, I think this is probably a launch, like a bay where they launch fighters out of. That's kind of my thought process. So I can have some different colors in there. Like maybe there's some extra shielding in there. But that's, yeah, I mean, I like the way that that's contrasting with the, that it works. I think it works with the darker blue. I think it works. All right, I'm going to put some bits on the top now. Where's the bridge for this thing? I don't even know. Maybe it's up here. Maybe we'll do that. All right, let's see. I'm going to see if I can adjust my angle a little bit. All right, here we go. We're trying to paint some of these kind of command bubbles. Actually, and this is one of the things, Akbar wasn't happy when he saw this ship pull up to his fleet. Like, why did you do that? Well, sir, we wanted to paint the bridge nice and bright blue. You'll put a bullseye right where your captain's gonna stand. A bullseye? How so? Well, now it's bright. What were you thinking? And then they said, well, that's no problem, sir. We'll just move the captain to the back of the ship. They put all the, they put the Imperial prisoners on the bridge now. So if they're attacking the Death Star and like the Star Destroyers target fire right there, they're gonna take out all those Inferno Squad prisoners that got caught in a raid. It's part of that strategy. Part of that strategy. Chandler, if you're still in chat, when is the next Armada tournament? Man, when are we having the next Armada tournament up here in sunny Orlando? I've got some really goofy list ideas I'm going back and forth with. I'm wanting to play some more. I got now all the Separatist stuff. The Recusants are out. It's this Sunday. Oh, right. I thought it was Saturday. It's Sunday, huh? Well, I think I'm going to try and make it. I don't even know where that store is, but that's why I have Google. All right. So if you're in Orlando, come out to Campus Cards and Games this Sunday. I don't know what their capacity is or how many people have showed up, but we'll be all right. If we got too many, then the rest of us will go somewhere else. Hey, that'd be a great problem to have. Too many people showed up for the Armada event. I'm probably almost done. JJ with the address. I'm not gonna remember that, but thank you. Hey, you did confirm that a Google search will absolutely work. I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking forward to when the mask mandate goes away because I'm eager to be able to play again and not have to wear a mask all day long. You know, masks are great and everything, but being fully vaccinated, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to take this thing off. You know, and we're getting there. You know, in Orange County especially, man, we're really getting there. I think we're over 70% vaccinated in Orange County right now. I don't know. Yep. It's pretty cool. It's nice. Things are getting safer and safer, and it's a real good feeling. Okay, we're getting there. I think I'm gonna do one more window in the blue, and then it's gonna be lighting time, and that's gonna be where we'll kind of take a break from this ship. I'll show you guys, if you guys just joined in, I'll show you guys the other ships in this Rebel fleet and show you a little bit about the scheme we have going on. And if you haven't already, follow me on social media. Join the Discord too. We got a really great Discord. We have a painting competition going on right now for the month of June. Just post your paint jobs in there, and you can win a custom color and title, or the Artisan of Fate rank, which is only reserved for painting contest winners. So you can have a fancy color, really kind of stand out. And we have those all the time. Plus, we do other giveaways in Discord as well. All right, I need a little more white. I'm going to add them lights, make this ship pop. I think no ship truly comes to life until you add them lights all over the place. All right, to make sure I have it good, again, I'm going to start on the bottom first. And I'm going to add these just everywhere. There we go. And the bottom actually makes a lot of sense right here because you might see these bits. These are all bits that can be seen during play. Mm-hmm. There we go. See, that's kind of the idea. So far, so good. You got to use a real fine brush for stuff like this. But I think every repaint needs to have these. I mean, it doesn't need to, but it really, like, to me, this is the one of the smallest details that just makes the most difference. And it's pretty cool. They've been doing this a little bit more with the Clone Wars wave. They've been putting like yellow lighting on a lot of the ships, and that's cool. To me, it's not good enough. You know, it's not good enough for my tastes. So I like to come back in. I like to come back in and do a little bit more. Yeah, see, this is looking good so far. I got to do the top though, because I think you might see it Granted, a lot of times you'll see it on the tabletop like this, but you might look at it from the side a little bit, you know. And so I want you to be able to see those underlines, the under stuff, the under stuff. That's not even a word. Under stuff isn't a word, or is it? Is under stuff a word? It can be. I think anything can be a word, really. Language doesn't have to be set in stone, you know. Language is just a way for us to understand each other. Do, 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 do. But it's really interesting for, so how many of you guys are Armada players and have not kind of jumped into Clone Wars stuff at all yet? Because I think the Clone Wars ships having such an interesting, like so many of them have salvo built in already, and that just being such an interesting, a really, really interesting defense token. I think that's like one of the biggest things that's hugely changed the game. And the way the Clone Wars defense tokens are set up too, it really makes you think about, like, do I really want to make this attack? You know, if I've got that CR90 and I'm going to attack that flagship, but wow, while I could maybe drain the flagship, they're going to kill me with the salvo. You know, like, is that really worth it? You know, and it gives you a lot more choices when spending accuracies too. It used to be that you always just target the brace. But now you have to really think, where do I absolutely need to target this ship? Oh man, it's such a difference right there versus. I love it. This one's gonna be really pretty when it's done. I want to set it up next to that Starhawk. And one thing I love about, like, making your game fancier and stuff, it makes you want to play more. Like, it gets you excited. Like, I really can't wait until we get luxury playstyle tokens for Armada also. We're working on the Legion ones right now. I'm actually designing the Legion tokens, which is really a fun thing. Really cool process that we're going through, and I'm learning a ton about the whole process of designing a product that's going to, you know, go into mass production. You know, so many things that seem really like it should be this way on the surface, you're like, oh wait, it can't be because of reasons, you know. So it's interesting learning so much, and it gives me I guess a little bit more of an understanding for, you know, sometimes when questionable decisions are made when it comes to Armada, X-Wing, Legion, and games like that. You know, because there's tough choices to be made all across the board. You know. Oh yeah, we're putting some lights on the black portions too. One thing is, when you start putting lights too close together, you're like, oh crap, I have to do this everywhere on the ship now, otherwise it's going to look off. So I'm starting to spread them out, make them a little more sparse as I get farther up the ship, because I'll be here all day just trying to do these white lights. There we go. Couple more in the back, and then I'll be able to call it for this side. All right. Sorry about that. All right, so here we go. Doing the other side right now. I'm going to try and get this done a little quicker. And if you guys have joined recently and didn't see the beginning, I kind of showed off all of the repainted Rebel ships, and I think it's a big improvement over the old color scheme. I'm really liking the way it's all turning out. Getting there. I can't wait to see this thing kind of on its stand right next to the Starhawk. Flying soon, you know. I usually don't fly Rebels that much, so I might have to start flying Rebels again. I think that was one of the reasons I didn't fly Rebels as much before. It's because I wasn't happy with the paint scheme for so many of my Rebel ships, and I really like this scheme more, and so I think that's going to go a long way towards getting these guys flying again. Is because when you're proud of a paint job, I think you're more likely to want to put it on the table, you know, to show it off, to see it. I like to take photos too. I've been posting a lot more stuff on like Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and so that's cool. Although Instagram's freaking driving me crazy. Like I had just started using Instagram, and then they changed like the whole thing. Like now I can't see, you know, how many like likes and comments and stuff that are on pictures and stuff anymore. And I used to be able to. I used to be able to go like a summary of how everything was, because I only log in once in a while, so I want to see like what pictures are exploded, what kind of content is doing well. It won't tell me that anymore. And like they just changed it. Like, why would you do that? Why would you not want people to know what is working, what's popular, and what's getting engagements? Like, what is wrong with you, Instagram? So I don't know. Maybe they'll change it back. All right, a little bit on the bottom, not as much. Okay, I think that's gonna do it. Woo! She's pretty. I'll zoom out a little bit. There we go. She looks good. Rinse off my brush here. All right. And where is the base for this thing? I got to do that. Let's do the comparison now with this and the Starhawk. All right. Okay. Well, that's pretty slick. A lot of lights on the Starhawk. A lot of lights on this guy. Actually, more. I did more lights on this guy than I did on the Starhawk. I might have overdone it a little bit, but that's okay. I like it. Of course, I got the engines that do match the Starhawk's engines, so that's good. And we got lots more to do. Not gonna do them all right now, but just you know, we've got the nebula in there. You can't see. Oh shoot! What is going on? You can't see what. All right, can you guys see now? I guess I lost my video feed somehow. Oh man, I'm sorry guys. How can this guy's live stream on black screen get so many viewers? All right. Oh wow, that's so weird. So I'm using my phone, and I had a telemarketing call that I guess happened a little while ago and must have killed the. Yeah, I had a telemarketing phone call. I guess that killed my video. That's really strange. So I looked up, and I'm so sorry, guys. I had no idea. That's freaking hilarious. And I'm looking over the comments, and you're like, "You'll take my word for it." All right. So, well, you know what? Here we go. That's funny. I'm so sorry about that. All right. Here's the completed Liberty. Surprise! That was my trick to a lot of lights on this one. I did some on the bottom too. I may have done a little bit too many. I may have gone overboard. Well, this one's got a lot of crew, and they're partying right now. So there we go. And here it is next to the Starhawk. So that's going on there. I think I did add a little bit too much, but that's okay. That's okay. Here's some of the other ships that we'll be doing. How can this guy get so many views on his black screen? That's freaking hilarious. Sorry about that, guys. It happens. It certainly happened at FFG before. And then and I did like I did like 2 lines on this guy. I did crisscross on that guy. And that one's gonna be fun. Home 1 will do kind of similar. I think I'll do probably a little bit less lighting on that one. Got our Hammerhead there. This one, man, this one broke so many times I couldn't get it to glue in anymore, so I had to use like a putty. And then we've got our Assault Frigate Mark II. That guy will be coming up later on. So stay tuned to Instagram and Twitter and all that other stuff if you want to see some more pictures of the finished product as they get completed. We'll be working on more of them. All right, guys, that's all I've got. I want to thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.